Okay, question 5. Find the errors question. Lots of these in the previous spec, so it could be something. They could be saying, well, look, we're going to give you one of these to do. So if you get a bit of time, it's worth practicing some of the other find the error questions that I've shared with you in the revision section for paper 2. Let's have a look at this one anyway. Right, an algorithm has been written. In pseudocode, input some numbers. It only outputs any numbers that are greater than or equal to 100. The number 999 is not output and stops the algorithm. So there's a couple of things in there that we can check, but let's have a look at the start. So we've got input number, so we type in a number, and then we're testing the number with a while loop. So while numbers is not equal to 999 do. So have you spotted the first error here? Hopefully you've noticed that we've input a variable called number, and then what we've actually done is we've tested or tried to test a variable called number. So we're going to get an error there. So the first error is numbers, and the correction is number. That's it. If you wrote it as a sentence to explain, that's fine, as long as you're correcting numbers to number. That's fine. Okay, so let's have a look for our next error. If number is greater than 100, so in our question, there's always some things that you can check. So this line here, the algorithm only outputs numbers that are greater than or equal to 100, and we're saying if number is greater than 100, so that's not greater than or equal to. So here is our next error. So let's just go ahead and write that line out, which is as how they've done it in the mark scheme. But again, if you can want to explain it in words, that's fine, as long as it's clear what you're correcting. So if number, I'm trying to make that a capital N, so it's as it is in the question. If number is greater than 100, that's our error. Okay, and then the correction. If number is greater than or equal to 100. Okay, let's have a look at our next error. So one of the things you can do is you can sort of test the algorithm and just see whether it'll work or not. So we know that the number 999 is an output because it stops the algorithm, and that's this line here. So when this line, if I number the lines, so when line 2 here is corrected, we take that S off. So if the input, let's say the input 999, so while number, which is 99, while the number is not equal to 999 do. So if they put in 999, it actually won't do it. It stops it. So if they put in, let's say they put in 120. If they put in 120, well, 120 isn't 999, so it's not equal to 999, so we will do this. So if we work in for this now, if number is greater than, in our corrected one, is greater than or equal to 100, which it is, then we'll output the number, which is what we want to do. We want to output all the numbers greater than or equal to 100. End if, and then we go back around and we test the number again. Now, if you remember, we just entered 110 and it hasn't changed. It's still 110. So we output, it's greater than 100, so we output the number. And we go around again. Remember, with the while loop, we test it at the start of the loop, and depending on the test, we either do the loop or we stop. So with a while loop, we actually should be entering the number again in the loop. So we want to do that. So we tested the number. We see if it's greater than 100, and we output it with this if command. We should be putting it in here, just under this end if. So we input a number again, and we test it, and we go around. The loop only stops this line here, line 2, if we've just typed in 999. Okay, so for the error, now for this one, we would probably have to say describe it. So they have described it in the spec. So again, there's a dozen ways you could write it. Input number not in while loop. Don't think that is no, that's not exactly what they've written, but it fits on the line for me. And then the correction would be so in the spec they've described it. Insert input number after the end if, so that's fine. That's describing it. I'm just going to write end if and then input number because it fits. It's less for me to write, but again, you can write it however you want as long as it's clear. Absolutely fine. Okay, last error. So I mean, we've been through the code. When the loop stops, we output the number. So there's a couple of things here. If we typed in 999, that means we would not do the while loop. The while loop wouldn't run, it stops. So we come after the end while, then we output number, and it says 999 is not output. So that means we would output 999. But also we're outputting the number twice. So and it doesn't ask us to output it twice either. So there's another little clue there. We look to see that output number. Why is that happening twice? So we're outputting it if the number is greater than or equal to 100. Once we've corrected that line, we're definitely outputting in there. So why are we outputting again? Well, we don't need to. So we can just say the error is last output not needed. Correction. Remove last output number. Okay, so that's that one. Yeah, like I said, have a practice of some of the others, but a couple of the errors are should be easier to spot, straightforward, and then just work through it a little bit, and then you'll find the others. Okay, thank you very much.